Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Imagine a world not as land and sea, but as a glowing lattice of fiber optic light. You are standing inside a point of presence facility in Ashburn, Virginia. The air is cold, dry, and vibrating with the roar of industrial cooling fans. Every second, petabytes of data, emails, banking records, private searches scream through these racks at the speed of light. This is the nervous system of the modern world, and it is here in the dark corners of the internet's backbone that the thief waits. This is the era of the war on terror, where the digital frontier has become the primary battlefield and total information awareness is the goal. You feel the static electricity dancing on your skin as you move deeper into the hot aisle, where the temperature spikes against the freezing intake vents. The blue glow of the server racks pulses like a collective heartbeat, casting long, jittery shadows against the steel mesh. You aren't just an observer. You are part of the siphon now. You reach out and touch the orange fiber optic cables. They are warm to the touch, literally vibrating with the friction of a billion human desires, secrets, nudes, and betrayals passing through your fingertips. In this air-conditioned tomb, the physical world has vanished, replaced by the humming architecture of a global panopticon, where every ping is a heartbeat we've learned to count. The setting is one of brutal functional efficiency. You see rows of black server cabinets, their blinking green and amber LEDs reflecting off the polished linoleum floor. To the untrained eye, it looks like standard infrastructure, but tucked behind a locked cage is a splitter cabinet. This is where the magic and the theft happens. A passive optical splitter has been installed directly onto the main trunk lines. It takes the incoming light and divides it. One beam continues to its intended destination, while the other is diverted into an NSA-controlled buffer. The target never knows their data has been cloned. This is the world of traffic thief. You aren't looking at a broad dragnet here. You are witnessing the precision siphon. The atmosphere is heavy with the scent of hot silicone and the static electricity of a billion simultaneous conversations. Unlike the bulk collection programs that grab everything, Traffic Thief is looking for the needle in the haystack. It uses strong selectors, unique identifiers like an IP address, a specific cookie, or a hardware MAC address to instantly recognize a target's traffic as it hits the wire. The silence of the facility is deceptive. The stream is screaming with secrets, and the siphon is drinking deep. You watch as a technician working for a major telecommunications provider but holding a top secret clearance replaces a line card. There is a palpable tension. The knowledge that every packet passing through this room is being weighed and measured by an algorithm. The shadow in the stream isn't a person. It's a series of automated triggers that fire the moment a specific individual logs on half a world away. The setting is the ultimate high-tech ambush where the high ground is the router and the weapon is the packet header. In the digital age, the thief doesn't need to break into your house. They just need to sit by the river and wait for you to swim by. Why the name? Within the internal nomenclature of the National Security Agency, Traffic Thief was an ironically literal designation. While many NSA programs utilize poetic or abstract code names, this one was a functional label for a targeted access tool. Records, including those leaked in 2013, describe it as a database and a tasking system that allows analysts to steal specific streams of data from the larger flow of global internet traffic. It got its name because it operates as a man in the middle without the middle or ever being detected. It is the silent interpretation that data in transit is fair game for collection if it touches U.S. infrastructure. And some of you might be wondering, This is CIA Declassified. Why are we hearing about an NSA project? So I've explained this in other episodes, but I'll just give you the 411. There are things that the NSA has invented, which the CIA said thanks, and they use it. And there are things the CIA has invented and then given to the NSA, and they're like, thanks, and they'll use it. And then there are things the CIA can do that they never tell the NSA because they don't have to, and they don't get to use it, and they're actually like 10 years ahead of the NSA. But that all being said, the CIA and the NSA work together with Traffic Thief. That's why we're talking about it. But yes, indeed, it was an NSA project to begin with. Moving on. If you want to catch a ghost haunting the machine, you don't call an exorcist. You simply take over the lease on the machine itself. Now let's dig into the cold, hard receipts of the digital heist. Traffic Thief was a core component of the turbulence architecture designed to handle high-volume data. The program utilized Deep Packet Inspection, DPI, to look inside the data envelopes. It was managed by S322 Data Acquisition Branch of the NSA. Traffic Thief utilized passive taps on undersea cables like the Atlantic Crossing. 1. The system was capable of tracking persistent cookies to follow targets across different devices. It utilized X-Keyscore, which I have an episode on, as the front-end interface for analysts to query stolen traffic. Traffic Thief was deployed at special collection sites inside U.S. embassies worldwide. The program utilized pattern of life analysis to predict when a target would go online. It identified targeted individuals based on their unique typing cadence or digital fingerprint. Traffic Thief utilized metadata siphons to grab the to and from fields of emails without opening the content. The program was active in monitoring traffic through the Bauer nodes in Europe. It utilized quantum insert technology to redirect a target's browser to a Fox ACID server. Traffic Thief was utilized to monitor the web forums used by extremist groups in the mid-2000s. The system documented the hop count of data to determine the physical location of a target. It utilized hardware-based triggers inside Cisco and Juniper routers. Traffic Thief was integrated into the Prism collection program for downstream access, and I have an episode on Prism as well. The program monitored the login credentials for unencrypted webmail services. It utilized session hijacking to maintain access to a target's account even after they logged out. Traffic Thief identified VPN exit nodes to determine where encrypted traffic was re-entering the open web. The system utilized buffer memories that could hold several days of full-take traffic for retrospective analysis. It identified hidden service on the Tor network by analyzing traffic timing. Traffic Thief was utilized to track the foreign intelligence officers of adversarial nations. The program documented software vulnerabilities and browser plugins to facilitate siphoning. It utilized optical signal regeneration to ensure the stolen light beam didn't degrade the original signal. Traffic Thief was a joint operation with the GCHQ under the Five Eyes Agreement. The program utilized dictionary attacks or intercepted encrypted zip files. It monitored the VoIP traffic of foreign embassies in Washington. Traffic Thief utilized IMSI catchers to bridge web activity with mobile phone locations. The program scraped buddy list from legacy instant messaging platforms. It utilized traffic shaping to slow down a target's connection, forcing them onto less secure fallback protocols. Traffic Thief documented the clock skew of a target's computer to identify them across different networks. The system intercepted print jobs sent over unencrypted office networks. It utilized social graph analysis to identify a target's family members based on shared IP addresses. Traffic Thief was capable of keylogger injection via compromised firmware updates. The program tracked App Store download histories to profile a target's interest. It utilized microburst data exfiltration to avoid detection by standard firewalls. Traffic Thief identified burner laptops by their unique Wi-Fi card signatures. The system utilized semantic analysis to flag code words used in chat rooms. It monitored the search queries of foreign nuclear scientists. Traffic Thief utilized user agent strings to determine exactly which version of a browser a target was using. The program mapped the internal topology of adversarial government intranets. It utilized beaconing signals from malware to verify the identity of a siphon stream. Traffic Thief intercepted webcam streams from unencrypted P2P software. The system utilized timestamp correlation to link a web post with a specific physical location. It documented the file transfer protocol credentials of foreign media outlets. Traffic Thief utilized DNS cache snooping to see which websites a target had recently visited. The program monitored the electricity consumption data of server farms to find hidden racks. It utilized packet reassembly to reconstruct fragmented files stolen from the stream. Traffic Thief identified dead drops in online video game chat rooms. The system utilized browser fingerprinting to bypass the privacy benefits of incognito mode. It monitored RSS feeds to see which news sources a target was following. Traffic Thief utilized SSH key interception to gain access to secure servers. The program documented target transitions as they moved from Wi-Fi to cellular data. It utilized machine learning, early versions, to categorize high-value traffic automatically. Traffic Thief identified the manufacturer of a target's router to exploit default passwords. A quote from General Keith Alexander, former director of the NSA, "We want to collect it all, process it all, and exploit it all." A declassified internal training slide for the NSA's tailored access operations. Traffic Thief is the software that allows us to find the specific person in the crowd of 1 billion users. A declassified legal memorandum on the third-party doctrine as applied to fiber optics. If the data touches a U.S. switch, it is no longer private. It is a matter of national security. Declassified statement from a former NSA analyst during 2014 congressional hearing. The internet is the greatest tool for liberation, but for us it is the greatest tool for observation. A declassified signals intelligence operations manual. Passive collection is the most robust and reliable source of intelligence because the target never knows he is being observed. A declassified internal CIA briefing on cyber interdiction. Our ability to task the backbone directly allows us to bypass the delays of subpoena and the risk of detection. And a declassified training document for network analysis specialist. The stream is the message, and he who controls the flow controls the truth. Within the technical manual for the Traffic Thief tasking database, a massive 140 pages titled Domestic Interconnects and Public-Private Partnerships are entirely blacked out. These redactions are protected under Exemption B1 for national security. I suspect these pages detail the corporate collaborations protocol, the specific legal and financial arrangements that allow the NSA to install siphon hardware directly into the private data centers of major US tech giants. I think that the redacted portions cover backdoor immunity, explicit guarantees that companies will not be prosecuted for allowing the theft of user data. Most significantly, the redactions likely hide the domestic exception, the technical methods used to filter out U.S. citizens that are, in reality, frequently bypassed through incidental collection loopholes. And I'm not the only one with theories. In a world made of data, the thief doesn't just take your secrets, they take your identity. For instance, there's the predictive arrest theory. It's a persistent one that claims that Traffic Thief is linked to an AI that predicts future crimes based on search history, leading to the covert blacklisting or harassment of individuals before they even break a law. Then there's the stock market manipulation speculation. Some believe the siphon is used to intercept the private communications of CEOs and high-frequency traders, allowing the shadow government to manipulate global markets with inside information gathered from the stream. Then there's the digital soul theory. Fringe speculators suggest that the massive amount of data stolen by Traffic Thief is being used to build digital clones of every person on Earth, allowing the agency to simulate political movements or social unrest in a mere world before they happen in reality. Then there's the Echelon 2.0 conspiracy theory. Conspiracy enthusiasts whisper that Traffic Thief isn't just a collector, but a writer, a tool capable of silently altering the text of an email or a news article in transit to manipulate the target's perception of reality without them ever knowing the original was different. Was Traffic Thief a success? Tactically, it was a scalpel in a world of sledgehammers. Traffic Thief was an overwhelming success because it fundamentally solved the big data volume problem. Before its implementation, intelligence agencies were drowning in the sheer noise of the internet, struggling to process billions of irrelevant packets. This program allowed analysts to perform surgical interception, tasking specific selectors that would trigger an immediate siphon of only the relevant traffic. It effectively turned the entire global internet into a searchable, real-time database where the distance between a target's action and an analyst's desk was reduced to milliseconds. Furthermore, the victory lay in the perfection of stealth persistence. By utilizing passive optical splitters and hardware-level triggers, the program achieved a level of invisibility that traditional man-in-the-middle attacks could never sustain. It successfully bypassed the need for active intrusion, which often left traces for system administrators to find. Because it operated at the infrastructure level, the tactical advantage was absolute. The target could employ the most complex software-level defenses, but they remained helpless against a thief that owned the very fiber they were communicating over. Strategically, it was the silent annexation of the digital commons. The program succeeded by establishing what we now call algorithmic sovereignty. It allowed the United States to project power not through physical borders, but through the topology of the web. By controlling the primary junctions and undersea cable landings, the NSA achieved a strategic dominance that forced adversarial nations to rethink their entire communication security. It turned the open architecture of the internet, once considered a tool for global democratization, into a centralized instrument of state control, effectively ending the era of digital anonymity for high-value targets. This strategic success came with a massive long-term cost: the total erosion of international trust. Once the scale of backbone siphoning was revealed, it triggered a global shift toward data localization and the development of sovereign internets in nations like China and Russia. Traffic Thief won the battle for immediate information, but may have lost the war for a unified open web. It accelerated the balkanization of the internet as nations moved to build walls high enough to keep the digital thief out, leading to the fractured, heavily encrypted landscape we navigate today. As far as operational and technological breakthroughs are concerned, Traffic Thief has become some of the blueprints for our modern world, such as automated selector recognition was the operational breakthrough that allowed the system to scan billions of packets for a single strong selector in real time. For humanity today, this logic is the engine behind targeted advertising and the predictive text on your smartphone. In the military, it is applied to electronic warfare to identify and jam specific enemy radar signatures amidst the noise of a battlefield. For the intelligence community, it remains the primary method for real-time tracking, allowing agents to follow a target's digital footprint across different devices and networks without losing the scent. High-speed packet injection was the technological breakthrough that enabled the quantum suite of tools to insert data into a stream faster than the original server could respond. Today, this technology ensures that your streaming services and low-latency gaming feel instantaneous by predicting and preloading data. The military applies this to cyber counterstrikes, hijacking enemy command and control signals to deliver disabling payloads. The intelligence community uses it for session hijacking, allowing them to take control of a target's web session and impersonate them to gain deeper access to protected systems. Metadata relationship mapping was the operational breakthrough that focused on the who, when, and where rather than the what. For humanity, this technology underpins the social graphs of platforms like Facebook and the contact tracing used in public health crisis. The military uses these maps for target acquisition, identifying the leaders of insurgent cells by seeing who they communicate with. The intelligence community utilizes it for link analysis, building complex webs of association to uncover hidden foreign intelligence networks, even when their actual messages are heavily encrypted. Optical splitter integration was the technological breakthrough that allowed for the passive cloning of light-based data without interrupting the signal. Today, this is used by telecommunications companies for network troubleshooting and high-speed data backups in corporate environments. The military applies this to secure communication lines, utilizing the same technology to monitor their own networks for unauthorized tampering. The intelligence community uses it as the physical anchor for backbone collection, installing these splitters at undersea cable landings to ensure they have a permanent invisible seat at the world's table. The echoes of the digital siphon continue to vibrate through every byte of data we send. It was an era that proved that the privacy of the internet was a fragile illusion easily shattered by the right tool at the right time. The result was a world where we are all digital subjects moving through a stream that is constantly being filtered and stolen by an invisible hand. The true weight of this operation lies in the way it changed our relationship with technology. We no longer just use the internet, we are processed by it. The infrastructure built to catch the thief has become the infrastructure of our daily lives. The shadow in the stream isn't just a program, it's the new normal, a world where every search is a confession and every click is a data point in a file that never closes. This transformation has turned the global citizenry into an inadvertent resource of the state. We have entered a stage of surveillance capitalism and intelligence overreach where the very tools meant to connect us are the ones that dissect us. The digital thief didn't just want our secrets, it wanted our patterns, our predictability, and ultimately our autonomy. By turning the internet's backbone into a witness, they ensured that the past is never truly gone and the future is always being anticipated by an algorithm. We are swimming in a river of our own making, forgetting that the banks are lined with watchers who have been learning our strokes for decades. If you don't want it stolen, don't send it through the stream. Encrypt your data, but remember that the metadata still tells a story. The most secure computer is the one that is turned off and buried in the yard. And remember, the shadow only exists because the light is always on. Thanks for listening and join us next time as we examine Project Doria, the high-stakes psychological study on how groupthink affects the decision-making of the Soviet Politburo. We'll look at the behavioral profiles created by CIA psychologists, the secret war room simulations, and the reality of a world where the greatest threat wasn't a missile, but a room full of men who couldn't say no. Join us next time for the echo chamber of the Kremlin. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.